Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop, where I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Yo, today we're going to be talking a little bit about what happened last night in terms of MLB. Just rolling through that stuff really quick. We're going to look at some pitching for today's 8-game main slate. Then we're going to hop off into a little bit of NFL, discuss some of those things before we do our lineup builder show later on today. You know, Thursday, man, game start Thursday. We got to get those lines in. I hope you got your single entries already reserved. Hope you've already in a good spot, a positive spot to bounce back from week one if you didn't have a good one, or to keep it rolling if you had a nice week one and you wanted to expound upon that, okay? So really quick, man, we're going to run it to into MLB really fast, chop that up. I threw out my tweet, who will be the gang stack of tonight's 12-game MLB main slate. And, of course, you know, the Boston Red Sox, the overwhelming favorite for a long time throughout the day, man. But as we got closer to lineups locking up, you saw a lot of cats jump on the Chicago Cubs. And honestly, the Cubs were one of my favorite stacks on the slate. Truth be told, man, they were my third favorite stack on the slate. So you had the Boston Red Sox. A lot of folks were on them. I really didn't like them much. There was a couple of guys that I did like. I like Jackie Bradley Jr. I thought that Devers, Benintendi were in good spots. But I didn't want to chase what the homie did last night with the 44 points. I just didn't want to chase that, so I didn't have any exposure to him or to much of the Boston Red Sox. Next, we had the Chicago Cubs. Was all over the Cubs all day. Loved them. Nobody wanted to play him. I got a huge piece of them, man. That was an awesome line that I had. Then we had the Texas Rangers. 25% of everybody that voted here were on the Rangers. The Rangers were my fourth ranked stack on the slate, and turned out to not be a very solid game from them. And the one that got the least amount of votes, again, this is like a streak. The one that got the least amount of votes, the Milwaukee Brewers, was actually one of the better stacks on the day, and I loved them in this spot. And not only did liking the Milwaukee Brewers as a stack, you know, help me to get to the cash line with that specific lineup, but it also took me completely off of glass now in everything. I had no glass now, zero, because I liked the Milwaukee Brewers that much. Okay, so let's go ahead take a look at, well, and this is what I did, okay? It was a very light night for me. 12 plus 1 plus 0. I had $13 invested. I won 37, almost tripled the buy-in. Cool. What happens tonight was a date night, man, and I didn't want to make a bunch of different lines and do all of that stuff. And I had Bible study tonight as well. I didn't want to make a bunch of lines, do a lot of stuff that I had to keep checking on. So I just threw 12 lineups in a $1 contest, or 13 in a $1 contest, and was like, fuck it, you know? And it actually was pretty decent. So, but these are the same lines, man, that we all had access to. I'm telling you, if you wanted to score what I scored tonight, you very well could have. Let's take a look at some of the top scorers on the slate. Albert Almora Jr. led all scorers at 34. You had Mike Zunino, 32. Cody Bellinger got right with his 30. AJ Pollock, Javier Baez, man, nice. Eddie Rosario, 25. Reese Hoskins, 25. Pretty solid scoring night. Pretty predictable, I would say. We look at the gang stack of the night. It was most certainly, without a doubt, the Chicago Cubs. Almora, Javier Baez, Chris Bryant, Ben Zobrist, Rene Rivera, who came off of the bench. For Contreras. Contreras left the game early. I was mad about that. Rizzo had 14, and then you see Contreras there with his 14 as well. So that was pretty decent. As far as pitching went, again, we were dead on in pitching. And I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I had zero Fister once, because the lines that I made, well, I didn't make them. We all made them. The lines that we made in the sweatshop, in the line drive, those are the lines I used. I didn't do anything else. I just uploaded those, bam, because I had to go. I had Bible study, I had to go to work. So the lineups that we built are the ones that I used, and they were all very good. So we had Nola everywhere, and 36.15. I had no Patrick Corbin. Some of you guys were on him. I talked shit about Tyler Skaggs. He was good at 27.35. Irvin Santana was a guy that I had liked a lot. Had a lot of him. Had a lot of Guzman at 24.95. And Yu Darvish and Luis Gohara, who some of you all tried to put me on, was a very good play. And my cheap jack didn't do shit. My cheap jack tonight was the homie Joey Gallo. Bad. He was horrible. Some of the duds, and those are the stud pitchers. Some of the duds we had. Of course, Matt Harvey was horrible. German Marquez, another one, -4. Mike Fiers, bad. Tyler Glasnow, of course, didn't play him at all. Dan Straley was bad. Doug Fister only scored .8 points. So that was horrible. Horrible. And then you had Skogler from the early. So all in all, good night for me. Didn't win a ton of money, but I didn't lose anything. I actually added a little bit more football money. Now, right now, as we speak, the 100 Band Clan are getting it in the other room, in the other studio. They're getting it in, chopping up the BMW Championship. So if you want to check that out, go to YouTube, man. Holler at the homie Dexter Pope. You can also follow him on Twitter at dpope919. Also, ACP the Don, at ACP the Don on Twitter. They represent the 100 Band Clan, man. They are chopping it up right now on YouTube. So go check that out when you get a chance to. And also follow them cats on Twitter. Make sure you do that. So let's go ahead, man, and jump into this slate. We're going to roll through it briefly, man, because I do have a few NFL quick points that I do want to chop up with you. First game's at 7:05. It's going to be the Baltimore Orioles and my New York Yankees. We have Masahiro Tanaka at 9.7. Wade Miley, 5.8. Very cheap price for Miley. Tanaka at 9.7, right where you would expect him to be. This is a playoff push that's going on for the Yankees here, so they are going to want to play to win. You see Miley, last 5 starts, 7, 17, 15, 20, and 7. Two of those really great offenses he didn't score against Seattle and Cleveland, but then Toronto, Boston, Oakland got it done against those guys. Don't really like him against the Yankees here. We look at the Yanks and what they do at the crib versus left-handed pitching, and it should be fairly decent, man. 19.3% K rate, nice. 190 ISO with a 356 WOBA. That's going to completely take Miley out of play for me. You look at the Baltimore Orioles and what they have done on the road versus right-handed pitching, and they've not been very good lately. 25.3% K rate, a 151 ISO with a 295 WOBA. That is going to push Masahiro Tanaka towards the top for me. I'm definitely going to have some exposure to him without a doubt. Look here. Make sure everything is... I'm going to get back into the Facebook group. Make sure everybody can check me out there. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have exposure to him there. Definitely going to have exposure to Masahiro Tanaka. Next game we got is going to be the Miami Marlins and the Philadelphia Phillies. Jose Urena at 7.8. Jake Thompson, 6.4. Yo, this has been nuts what we've been seeing the Philadelphia Phillies do, man. These cats are young and they love to swing the bat. And that's all you can tell when you're watching these people play. Like, they're just killing it. They're murdering it, all of them. And, you know, you look at, Rhys Hoskins, what he's been able to do. He's finally priced up above 5.5K. He's at 5.2. Jose Urena here at 7.8. Jake Thompson. It's tough. I don't want to play pitching in the spot. You've got to think that the Miami Marlins are going to bring it one of these days. We are in Citizens Bank Park, a very, very solid place. Very solid place for hitters. You do have a short amount of wind going toward the outfield, so that's going to take me off of pitching in this spot. You look at what the Philadelphia Phillies do at the crib versus right-handers. They should be pretty much towards the top, man. I'm talking now. The K rate is high, 25.5% K rate, with a 216 ISO with a 326 WOBA. That says that these guys are most certainly playable, and I can't get where you're in. Even though he's not a guy that genuinely gets blown up, it's just still, man. I just can't get to him. 22 last time against Atlanta, 14-4, 15, 14-6. I just can't get to him. I'm going to like a couple of the Philadelphia bats. On the other side, you look at Jake Thompson. I have zero interest in him. I really think the Miami Marlins are going to come out and want to play well. Even though their season is pretty much wrapped up, they've got no shot. They're done. I still think, playing for pride, they don't want to get swept by the Philadelphia Phillies, man. So they're probably going to want to come out to play. And that's going to take me off of Jake Thompson. And I will have some exposure to the Miami Marlins. You look at what they do on the road versus right-handed pitching. And, it's not as bad as it seems, man. It's a 21.4% K rate. The ISO is at 183, still got a 324 WOBA. So you could take a shot at some of those bats. The next game we got is the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. Tanner Roark, 10.2. I don't know why he's priced up that high. Mike Folowitz at 6.8. Not a big fan of Folowitz here, or Roark for that matter. As a matter of fact, I would take a shot at some of the Atlanta bats. We take a look at what they do on the road versus righties. Not awesome, but 17.7% K rate. That's not a huge K rate. You have a 174 ISO, which I kind of like. That's above 165, so it's usable. And a 338 WOBA says, yo, you can play multiple bats from this game, and you're gonna get some guys that get on base. And with that, that's not an issue. Okay, so you look on the other side, Tanner Rourke, 10.2. I already said I don't like him. Mike Fulton with 6.8. You look at what the Washington Nationals have been doing at the crib versus righties, and the numbers have been pretty much down for them lately at home versus righties. You're talking about a 22.8% K rate, 144 ISO with a 335 WOBA. The WOBA is nice. Then you've got Trey Turner and those guys just coming back. Jason Worth there. But at the same time, man, 6.8 for Mike Fulton could be a solid play and a contrarian play, to say the least. The next game we got is the Kansas City Royals and the Cleveland Indians. Could this be the day where the Orioles, I mean, excuse me, where the Royals somebody finally beats the Indians, bro? You got Josh Tomlin at 9K, throwing that lazy-ass curveball. We've got solid hitter spot in Progressive Field. The dew point 61, 70 degrees here, 71% humidity, 2-mile-per-hour wind coming back toward the infield, 1% chance of very light rain. All conditions for, I think, Cleveland to continue to roll, man. I can't play Jake Junis against them, man. I just can't do that. I can't. And Josh Tomlin is going to be in play for me. You look at what the Kansas City Royals do on the road versus righties. They're down in the dumps, man. 17.4% K rate, a 157 ISO. Now, the 346 WOBA is intriguing. And if for that reason, I think that, there's some pivot sort of situation here when you look at Josh Tomlin and what could happen against the Kansas City Royals, because they got some really solid power lefties. They got really solid power lefties for Kansas City. So I'm gonna roster Tomlin with care. I'm gonna roster him believing that Jake Junis is gonna get taken advantage of by the Cleveland Indians. Because these cats are not only playing well, but they're playing with attitude. They're playing with focus. They're playing with a confidence, man, that I haven't seen from any other team this year, and that's why they've won 21 straight games. So the next game we got is part 2 of the New York Mets and the Chicago Cubs. You got Jen Ho-Sang. He's not even available here. You got Seth Lugo, 6K. Just stack the Cubs. Be done with it. I want no part of the New York Mets as far as Seth Lugo goes. Against Jen Ho-Sang, maybe you could play with some of the Mets guys. We're gonna look a little bit closer to that once we jump inside the line drive and the actual rosters come out. Next game we got is the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers, man. I've been waiting for the Rangers to show up. And Castro's a guy that doesn't get hit up a lot. You look at what the Seattle Mariners do on the road versus righties. The stats are going to say that it's not good, but they've been hitting well in this same situation. 20.2% K rate, 151 ISO, 320 WOBA. The numbers say that this is not good to play Seattle, and I haven't been playing them when the numbers have been this way, but they've been playing well recently. You look at the Rangers here at the crib versus righties, it's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. Okay. It's the exact opposite. It says the Rangers 22% K rate, 210 ISO, 366 WOBA. The numbers say to play the Rangers, and they have been saying that throughout this series and the one before, but we haven't seen them really produce. I think this could be the end of that. We can definitely see them have a nice one against Felix Hernandez. I'm gonna play some of the Texas bats here, and I have no interest in the pitching on either side, albeit Felix Hernandez or Andrew Kashner. Don't like those guys. Next game we got is the Toronto Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins. Jose Barrios 10.8 is definitely in play for me. We know the Toronto Blue Jays have packed it in. There's nothing left for them to do. They cannot make the playoffs. They are done, dead in the water. We've got 11-mile-per-hour wind coming back toward the infield. That spells pitching paradise. Target field is already a kind of a neutral spot for hitting anyway. So I'm gonna have a ton of Barrios here. I love Barrios. For what it's worth, give me the Barrios here, most definitely. Then you've got not only you have Barrios, but you've got the Minnesota Twins who punish lefties, man. I want to show you what they do at the crib versus left-handed pitching. This is ridiculous. Okay, a 12.9% K rate. What? Okay, 301 ISO and a 481 WOBA. They have been going turkey ham at home against lefties. Dozier starts it off too. Didn't do much last night against a righty. He was at 3% owned in most tournaments. You can look to him to be, upwards of 25% owned on an 8-game slate against lefties. People are not stupid. They remember. They know that Dozier against lefties is a thing. So look for Minnesota to be one of the most populated stacks in tournaments. Okay, definitely gonna have some exposure there. And I do love Barrios. The last game on the slate is going to be the Astros and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. We got Ricky Nolasco, 5.4. Brad Peacock, 10.1. Peacock, not a guy that I really like here. Skaggs got the best of Houston last night. I don't think that happens again. I believe I can take some Houston bats here. Peacock against the Angels, man. Let's look at the Angels, and they're not supposed to be very good at the crib versus righties. I don't think. I don't think they're supposed to be very good. Okay, 20.7% K rate, 190 ISO. Excuse me, with a 335 WOBA. But we did uncover that today. Yeah, we did. So Peacock, man, Peacock is going to be a stretch for me. At 10.1, I want 10Ks. Once you hit over 7, 8K, I'm looking at a K per thousand. That's what I want. And I don't think I can get that from Brad Peacock, especially out against the Los Angeles Angels, man. Not in this spot. So very short pitcher pool for me so far. I'm going to share with you the guys that I pretty much like. Berrios at the top, Masahiro Tanaka, Josh Tomlin, Mike Folowitz. That's as far as I can go. Like I really don't like anybody else. So I've got Berrios, Tanaka, Josh Tomlin, and Mike Folowitz. Now let's take a look. Let's change gears a little bit. Talk some NFL, man. If you don't know, now you know. I'm rocking out some. Let me change this right here. Season average. I'm rocking out some what are rush made 60 above my body and today. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, so I'm pretty much rocking out some RotoQL, man. Very solid site, man. If you don't have it, get it, man. It's really good. Did well for NFL, man. Last week, this is the shit that gave us the Jacksonville defense, like repeatedly. Ask anybody, it kept on giving us, Jacksonville. Now, some of those of us that had the Rams were good. Those of us that had the Texans, we really wish we had taken them up on the Jacksonville joint. So that was my first test run, first week one. I liked it, and I'm gonna be continuing to use it. Now let's do some quick injury style news and notes. Just to chop it up some. Now you know how I feel about Thursday night games. We got a game tonight. Houston and the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals sucked, man. They laid an egg. This is one of the lower point totals of the week, and for Thursday games are already disappointing. But when you've got a game like this, man, with a really, really, really low point total, man, it can be tough to roster offenses inside of this. You've got Deshaun Watson going to be making his first real start at QB. I think some people are going to want to get behind him. But me, I just don't see the value there. I just don't. I don't see the value in playing Deshaun Watson, and I won't. The 6.5, the 6.5 point underdog in this spot against a subpar Cincinnati defense. But still, man, I just don't feel like I can. I don't feel like I can get him. I don't feel like I can get to him. Lamar Miller at 5.3 is a guy that I do like. I think I was maybe a week early on playing some Lamar Miller. I think I can get to him. Having Deshaun Watson, a guy that can use his legs and make decent short throws, can open up the running game some for Lamar Miller. I don't think they can load the box because they knew if they just threw a healthy blitz at Tom Savage, there was no way. They knew if they threw a healthy blitz at Tom Savage, there was nothing he could do to stop. I mean, he was a statue just waiting to get stripped and sacked. So if I had to go anywhere in this game, the first thing I would look to would be maybe the Texans defense at 3.1 and maybe pairing that with Lamar Miller. That's as close as I could get to rostering anything in this game, honestly. I would love to play A.J. Green in this spot, but I just don't believe in Andy Dalton. I'm going to have to take a wait-and-see approach there, okay? Houston missing a lot of players. Both tight ends are in the concussion protocol. So this is a Thursday game. I don't like to play players in Thursday games, and I probably will not if I had to. If you had to twist my arm, I make 3 to 5 lineups and fade the game in the Thursday contest. Yes, because so many people get overzealous and they want to play a lot of. They want to game stack Thursday game, which really helped you out last week if you stacked Kansas City. So that's we're gonna be approaching that. And to talk about just a few injury news and notes. I pulled it up, on ESPN.com, just to give you a few notes here. John Ross still, we're not sure if he's going to play the rookie wide receiver. We don't know if he's going to be in. Then you look at the Texans. They lost C.J. Fedorowicz, Ryan Griffin, and Steven Anderson. Wide receiver Bruce Ellington. Houston, they put Fedorowicz on injured reserve. So the team's lone tight end to play Thursday is going to be Evan Bayless, and who was signed to the active roster from the practice squad Wednesday. And 3 preseason games, Bayless had 4 catches for 32 yards. So I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how Mo, everyone talking about New England and Tom Brady, but Drew Brees at home versus a struggling defense. Yes, I mean, we don't get there. You know it, baby. Next game we got the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns going to Baltimore as a 9-point dog in this spot. We got Deshaun Kaiser 5.1. I think people don't want to play him, and I think it makes sense because you know even though Baltimore played very well defensively against Cincinnati last week, I still don't think there's some defensive juggernaut. I really don't. And you look at cats like Terrence West, Javaris Allen, decent running backs, guys that can get involved in the passing game as well. I don't really see Baltimore just destroying and crowding the time of possession to where we don't ever see the Cleveland Browns have the ball. I don't see that happening. So definitely, if you wanted to play Deshaun Kaiser, I get it. It makes sense. I probably will not because I don't think he is a passing threat as much as he is a liability passing or a sure thing to run the ball to get a few first downs, maybe score a touchdown like he did last week. So I don't really love him. If I had to play anybody here, it'd be looking at Isaiah Crowell. Don't really love the receivers in this spot either. You look at Joe Flacco at 5.2. Mike Wallace, man, is priced down to 3.9. And you've got him and Jeremy Maclin, receiver 1 and 2. I think Mike Wallace deserves a little bit of respect in this spot. I really do. Baltimore defense shut Cincy down last week. Yeah, they did. They shut him down last week. Well, actually, I mean, the dude shut the defense down. Sport Geek says he's attacking Deshaun Kaiser the first few weeks. Yeah, well, Pittsburgh was a decent defense last week. They were. So if you're attacking Deshaun Kaiser, I get it. It makes sense. Young quarterback, rookie quarterback, hasn't seen all of the blitz schemes and the packages the NFL has to offer yet. So throw him at him. I get it. It makes perfect sense. I wouldn't have an issue, especially with what they did last week to a seasoned quarterback, right? Especially what they did against him. Terrence West, they should control the game, script, and clock. Yeah, my one issue with that is both of these backs are really good in the passing game. So we could see, drives that could have been really, really long be kind of short scoring drives, And plus, this is not a super effective red zone offense. So, and it's only a 38.5 point total. So I'm not going to have much invested in this game. If I would, it would be a defense. It would be, maybe Baltimore defense, maybe a running back to pair with the defense. So Allen actually outsnapped West. And that dude is actually he's a really good passing threat, a really good receiving threat out of the backfield. Javoris Allen, that is. Flacco isn't passing much either. Through the ball 17 times. Good. Allen had 21 carries to West 19 and outsnapped him. All right, so next game we got is going to be the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers here. We've got Cam Newton at 6.5, Tyrod Taylor 5.3. Wasn't a bad stack last week. The Taylor, LaShawn McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, and Charles Clay was not a bad stack. Now, usually, in years past, in seasons past, the strength of the Carolina Panthers has been the linebacking core, and they've always been able to play well against tight ends defensively. And we didn't see that week 1. Does that mean things have changed? I don't think so. And for that reason, I'm not that high on Charles Clay. He's coming in with a questionable tag. Anyway, I think he's really probable, but there is no probable. It's either questionable or out. So I can dig why people want to play Charles Clay. I'm not going to have heavy exposure to him. I don't even love LaShawn McCoy in this spot either. And of course, I don't like Tyrod Taylor. So I think this is a spot for me where I can go back. And I can maybe play the Panthers defense here, man. I kind of like them in this spot. You take a look at Jonathan Stewart is still underpriced to me at 4.4. The Bills have been a decent rushing defense against the rush. Mo, don't sleep on Kaiser. Remember Samardzija played for Notre Dame, the pitcher for the Giants. Yeah, I can't hang my hat on like rookie quarterbacks, bro. I can't. Rookie quarterbacks that don't really throw the ball. I can't do that, man. I can't. I can't. Def agree, Samuel. That was the one downside I saw from him in preseason. All right, so I will have exposure to Jonathan Stewart here. I've got no issue playing running backs against the Buffalo defense. I am completely fine with that. We do see a 43-point total in this spot. with the Panthers being the 7-point favorite. And I think that should shape up to be just exactly what it is, man. Now, LeSean McCoy, pretty dangerous back, man, but don't really love the spot that he's in against the Carolina defense. So I think they kind of wake up and play well this week, too. Next game we got is the Arizona Cardinals and the Indianapolis Colts. As long as Scott Tolzien is back there quarterbacking, dude is priced down 4.3. But as long as he's back there quarterbacking, I'm going to be playing the defense. I'm streaming defense against this cat, man. I will be playing the Cardinals defense. They're priced up a little bit to 4.1. The Cardinals defense costs 200 less than the Indianapolis quarterback. That is crazy. Jeremy Dash says he doesn't like McCoy's price. I don't like it either. I don't like it either. So Curtin Williams, we already know that is going to be a thing. You know that they also picked up Chris Johnson, but we're probably going to see Curtin Williams do most of the bulk of the heavy lifting. Brissett taking half the first string snaps. Ugh. Take Cam at home on parlay mode. They cover it every time. Yeah, and I kind of like Cam this week. I like Cam this week. I think I was a week early on. I like him. Now, we do have a 44-point total here with the Arizona defense being, to me, one of the premier defenses on the slate against Scott Tolzien here. If him or Brissett play, whichever one plays, I definitely can rock with the Cardinals defense. And for that reason, I am going to have some exposure to the chalk injury running back. Kerwin Williams are going to have some exposure there. Yeah, Brissett can't throw anyway. It doesn't matter which one they put in, Tolzien or Brissett. I'm going to play the Arizona defense against them. I kind of like them there. Not really in love with Carson Palmer. We look at how bad Indianapolis have been against the run. And for me, I mean, Kerwin Williams is definitely going to be a guy I'm going to play. I'm going to play him, certainly. The next game we got is going to be the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Marcus Mariota, 6.4. We've seen a Jacksonville defense that came out of the woodwork and got to it, man. Calais Campbell was a huge addition to that squad, man. You could see it, man. You could really see it. Marcus Mariota, 6.4. Now, the one thing about this is, Mariota's pretty dangerous coming out of the pocket. And I think last week, he didn't have to. He didn't have to come outside of the pocket much last week. He's very dangerous, but you could chase him around and he gets moving. He makes plays with his legs. He extends plays. He gets first downs himself. I think this could be the Marcus Mariota week against the Jacksonville Jaguars that everybody is going to be. If people doesn't play the Jaguars, they're going to be scared to play Tennessee against them. And I think that could be a mistake. I kind of like Mariota here as a contrarian play, and I kind of like a Tennessee stack here actually as a contrarian play to offset what's going on. I like Mariota. I like Murray. If Delaney Walker is good to go, I like Delaney Walker here. Yeah, I think this could be a solid spot, man, for the Tennessee Titans here. And I'm not particularly in love with Leonard Fournette. And this is the worst team in the league. Again, this is the worst team in the league in terms of the DVP against the quarterback position. Speaking of the Tennessee Titans, right? But Blake Bortles, man, it's been horrible. Allen Robinson goes down. He's done for the year. So you're going to see guys like Allen Hurns. You're going to see Marquise Lee. This looks just like a game fade for me. Yeah, not for me. I think there's something to be had here. I think DeMarco Murray here. I think Marcus Mariota, Delaney Walker. I think there's something to be had here, and I'm going to take advantage of it as well. I am. The next game we got is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs coming in at a 5.5 point favorite, 47.5 point total. We got the Eagles, man. Carson Wentz lit it up, had a really nice one. We're looking at a pretty solid Kansas City defense. LeGarrette Blount actually surprised me and was a nice part of the offense. Darren Sproles was kind of like my sleeper sneaky guy that I liked a lot last week. I still kind of like him this week. We saw an awesome rapport between Carson Wentz and Nelson Aguilar. Didn't see much of Alshon Jeffrey actually in terms of being a part of the offense and really getting catches and getting targets. But you did see a really solid targeting game from Carson Wentz to Zach Ertz. I think that continues this week. That's definitely a hookup that we can get to. Look on the other side, Alex Smith at 5.7. Josh Dewey says he likes the Chiefs defense. And this is funny. Somebody said it. I knew somebody was going to say it. The Andy Reid revenge. And I would feel better about Andy Reid revenge if the game was in Philadelphia. If the Kansas City Chiefs went to Philadelphia, I would feel a lot better about it. But I mean, they're coming there. So Tyreek Hill is good to go at 6.2. We've got Kareem Hunt 6.8, Alex Smith 5.7. Don't really your Philly defense does not scare me at all, especially through the air. Kind of weak in the secondary, so I definitely think they can be attacked. But the question is Alex Smith the quarterback to do that? We saw that week one. But it says Aguilar's in the slot again. Kansas City slot cornerbacks are bad, so you may want to take advantage of some Nelson Aguilar there. Next game we got one of the games of the week, bro. 56-point total here. This is the highest total on the slate. It's gotta be, bro. This is the hugest total on the slate. And it's really gonna be bad if this is like a 21-7 game. That's gonna piss people off. And this is like a Brady, oh, we got beat last week, we're gonna go ham. Okay? So so we got the New England Patriots here, giving up 6.5. We've got Drew Brees at home, which if you had not been paying attention over the last few seasons, Drew Brees at home has been a thing, especially against the weaker pass defenses. And honestly, you know, if New England goes off and they play well at a high ownership, like a lot of people are gonna want to play the Patriots because the narrative that's associated with after Brady after a loss is always a big deal. But if that's the case, and then you got Drew Brees slinging it around too, yo, it could definitely be a spot where both teams go off. But both teams could go off. So I like Brees here. I like Tom Brady on the other side. I think an easy stack for me would be Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas is a guy that I can look at. Kobe Fleener at 3.1. We have seen New England struggle against tight ends. You look on the other side, and of course, man, the Saints defense is just as bad as it always has been. So the easy play is to Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. I'm gonna pay up for tight end. I'm gonna pay up for Gronkowski. I'm gonna pay for Gronk. He's gonna catch a touchdown, in my opinion. You got Brandon Cooks, Danny Amendola. I probably won't play a running back here, which could hurt me, but yo, I've got no issue, man. We're stacking New England and or New Orleans, and even correlating off the two. Like if I got a quarterback, wide receiver, I'm gonna grab somebody from the New Orleans side. If I'm on New Orleans and I've got quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, whatever, I'm gonna grab somebody from the other side as well. And this is Cooks, man. This is Cooks going back to New Orleans, so that could be a deal, man. Cooks in the dome, but that's a lot for him. I think Amendola is on concussion protocol. Okay, yeah, that's right. He's questionable. Yeah, Cooks, Hogan, Thomas. Right, right. Yeah, I got Hogan in there. I got. Well, I'm not going to build any lineups. We're gonna build lineups tomorrow. Tomorrow before lineups lock, we're gonna build our Thursday lines, and that won't be available to the YouTube folks, man. Y'all gonna have to go hit up the website in order to get involved with that, and you do that at www.dfssweatshop.com. Next game we got is the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've got pretty solid Vikings defense here, going against one of the best offenses in the league with Big Ben, Le'Veon. You got Antonio Brown here, week one leader in catches. So do I want to and I'm gonna be real with you. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers can do what they do against any team. Oh yeah, definitely. I think they can do what they do against any team. They're very similar to the Patriots, where what looks like a crazy pass play, 5 wide on third down. This is crazy. Why not run the ball? It's 3rd and 1. Well, they run them so quick and with such uniformity and such snap that honestly, it's like a running play. Them going 5 wide on third down is just the same as a halfback slam. This is the same because that's the way they run it. So talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and teams like them and the Patriots. So that unorthodox, they're matchup proof. Yeah, Jeremy Lamb was like, bro, just shut up and say that they're matchup proof. Yes, they're matchup proof. These cats, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, matchup proof. And I don't think that just because they're playing a really solid defense in the Minnesota Vikings that you can't play them. I really do. Now, on the other hand, I think the affection that a lot of us had for Sam Bradford should definitely die down against the Steelers here. I think the Steelers are going to be a really solid defensive team and play well against the Minnesota Vikings here. So I don't have a ton of affinity for a lot of the Minnesota players. I really don't. You look at Stephon Diggs, a guy that can get loose and get it in. Sam Bradford, maybe, but I would much rather just move on, play some Steelers cats, and keep it moving. And that's what I would much rather do that. Maybe some Dalvin Cook if I want to, get involved in the Minnesota run game. The next game we got is the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Yo, I heard some cats this week, man. They were saying, yo, I don't like Jameis Winston. I can't play Winston. The Chicago Bears, they limit wide receiver ones, blah, 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 blah. Man, listen, I'm not scared of that shit, man. I'm not scared of that shit. I like Jameis Winston this week. As a matter of fact, I love Jameis Winston this week. Not only him, but I like Mike Evans, and I also think Deshaun Jackson is in a very solid spot. I think you can rock with Cameron Brate at 3K. I like the Tampa Bay offense this week. -7 point favorite in the spot. Give me in a 43.5 point game. Give me some of the Tampa Bay Cats. All right. Bears front seven is solid, but the secondary is weak. Exactly. It's too many weapons, bro. Tampa Bay just has too many weapons for me to be scared to play them against the Chicago Bears. Like, nah, fuck that. Nah. Look at the Bears side. No Glennon. Tariq Cohen, man, he's listed as a RB1 in this spot, priced at 4.1. I think you could make use of him if you absolutely needed to, but I think I'm gonna let everybody else jump on that too. I think the Steelers Viking game has sneaky shootout potential. And you're right about that because the Steelers are not a great defense. The Steelers are not an awesome defense. I mean, against Cleveland, they didn't even look that great against Cleveland. So, no Mike Glennon. I hate Mike Glennon. He sucks. Yo, Tampa defense could be in play for me too. If I didn't love Tampa's offense so much, I would play the defense easily, and I still might. The next game we got is going to be the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers here. We got Phillip Rivers at 5.8, who I absolutely love. This is one of my favorite quarterbacks, point per dollar on the slate this week. One of my favorite, bro. Against Miami, who sucks, and you got Jay Cutler, who's probably going to give the ball back a few times, give them some short fields. They're going to get the score. I like it. I like Rivers. I like Melvin Gordon. I think Keenan Allen is a guy that's also in play at 5.8. Okay, I can dig it. I can dig that. And also Hunter Henry, man, 3 point. I mean, excuse me, Antonio Gates, because they're still trying to get him that record. And yo, they had no targets for Hunter Henry, no catches, no targets for Hunter Henry. So they are still trying to feed Antonio Gates, get him that record, get him on out of there. So my top three guys for the Chargers, yo, I like Phillip Rivers, I like Melvin Gordon, and I also like Keenan Allen here. I really do. On the other side, against the Chargers defense, that was decent against the Broncos. It was decent, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And I'm not looking to pay 6.4 for Jay Ajayi, Jarvis Landry. I don't like Miami anyway. I don't like them anyway. Next game we got is the New York Jets and the Oakland Raiders. Josh McCown, man, 4.5. He was bad. Derek Carr, 7.2, still very playable. I don't really know exactly what to do with the running back situation for the Raiders. Do I think that Marshawn Lynch is going to be like a 20 carry guy, a 25 carry guy, like a workhorse the way he was? Nah, man, I don't think so. I don't see that. They don't have to do that. They can play Marshawn Lynch. They can play some DeAndre Washington. They can even get Jalen Richard in there. I just don't see them like rushing him a ton, and they really didn't the last time out. So you look at Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, who is questionable, but I still think he does play. Crabtree here is a guy that I think you can make use of. On the other side, I want nothing to do with any of the Jets spot. The only if the Jets had a tight end, I would rock. And Will Tye is very sneaky here. Will Tye is very sneaky here. The Oakland Raiders, man, very bad. One of the worst teams in the league against the tight end position. So that's going to make Will Tye very sneaky for me. Remember I said that. And plus, Oakland, this is a 13-point favorite, 43.5 point total here. Next game we got Lynch had 18 carries and had a stranglehold on the snap count. Passing downs. Don't see him do much in the passing game. And with the way the Raiders play, the the way the Raiders play, he wasn't in passing downs. He wasn't even there. It was Jalen Richard. It was so I don't love him. I don't love him. I don't love him. Lynch won't have enough opportunity in the pass game. He needs like 2 touchdowns to hit value. and GBP is not the play for me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not on Lynch. He's like an every down guy. He's the first 2 down guys. Okay, first, second down, give it to Lynch. Blah, blah, blah. 3rd and 3. Okay, get out, Lynch. We're passing the ball to Jalen Richard and to Deion Washington. You know what I mean? So, next game we got the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. Yo, it's gonna take some time, I think, for people to really get in sync. And I'm gonna tell you, the most in sync. Okay, in terms of what everybody did last year, let's look back at what everybody did last year, and it's gonna take time for everybody, because guess what? All of these teams are pretty much what they were last year. It just takes time to get to that point. And I'm gonna tell you, out of all the games that I watched every NFL game, right? And I'm gonna tell you the team that looked the most like they did last year at their peak. Okay? The team that looked the most like they did last year at their peak was emphatically the Dallas Cowboys. It pains me to say this. I hate these motherfuckers. I am a New York Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan for 38 years. I fucking hate the Cowboys. But I'm gonna be real with you. Dallas last year in the run game, they looked exactly the way they did uh, at their best last year, where you just could not stop them, where the offensive line was just making lanes, and when they weren't making lanes, Zeke was making them himself. And it was against my New York Giants, man, a really solid run defense. So as much as I hate them, I am going to have some exposure to Zeke, man. Zeke is Le'Veon Bell price. He should be 8K, 9K. Of course, he's getting the Denver Bronco discount, and I think we should jump onto that, man. I love Zeke here. He's such a huge part of the offense. And you ask me what I'd rather have. Would I rather have the best defensive line in the league or the best offensive line in the league? I'm not a fool, man. I would rather have the best offensive line in the league. Okay? I would rather have the best offensive line in the league. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys have. And that's why Ezekiel Elliott, for me, is a lock for, if not 100 yards and a touchdown, 75 yards, a rushing touchdown, and maybe some reception yards too, with a reception touchdown. Zeke caught 5 of 5 targets. Exactly. It's coming from Jeremy Ladd. So as much as I hate these motherfuckers, man, Ezekiel Elliott is going to beat a ton of my roster bills. I do like him a lot. And with that being said, man, I even think the Cowboy defense is something that a lot of people might not want to look at. But if you're telling me that Ezekiel Elliott is going to play very well, and he's going to have the ball a lot, and they're going to win the time of possession battle in this game, then that tells me that there's going to be a fresh Cowboy defense on the field against Trevor Siemian, a guy that has made strides. He's made strides, but he's still Trevor Siemian. So if I like Zeke this much, I may take a shot on the Cowboy defense as well, right? Denver discount shouldn't exist for the running backs, not this year, but in past years. Siemian did look good. He did look good, but he's still Trevor Siemian. He's still Trevor Siemian. He's not very good. He's not very good. Trevor's too cheap. He had poise Monday night. Yo, I hate these motherfuckers, man. I hate the Cowboys, but I'm looking at them. If they can make me some money, I'm gonna use it. I ain't gonna let them beat me and lose my money. If they gonna beat me, shit. Giants D kept Cowboys to 19 points, so not too bad. The D can't stay off the field because of our sorry-ass offense. Next game we got is the Washington Redskins and the Los Angeles Rams. Kirk Cousins, 6.1. Jared Goff, 5.1. You might call me crazy, but I'm going to be on Jared Goff again. I was on him last week. I think he's still in a good spot. Give me some Todd Gurley, 6.8. I like that. I also think that, Sammy Watkins and or Cooper Kupp are guys that you can also play. You look on the other side, Kirk Cousins. I think, this could be a shootout for me. I think this could be a shootout. This is one that I don't think a lot of people like. Denver was awful versus the run last year. Didn't look any better versus Melvin Gordon. Exactly. That's coming from the homie Josh Dewey. I definitely agree with that. I think this could be. I think this could be like a barn burner. It could be, bro. I think so because I like Cousins here. Really wish they had a better running back situation. But Terrell Pryor's a guy that I'm going to be interested in. As is Jordan Reed here. I think this is the week to pay up for tight end because all of them shit the bed last week. Like all the high dollar tight ends sucked, and I don't think that happens 2 weeks in a row. I remember that. I don't think that happens 2 weeks in a row. I'm talking your Greg Olsen, Jordan Reed, Gronk, they were all shit last week. And I don't think that happens again. So I'm gonna have some exposure to those cats. Yeah, I'm gonna have some exposure to these cats. The next game we got is the San Francisco Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson 6.8, Brian Hoyer 4.5. Yo, I usually do not play Russell Wilson until a little bit later in the season, uh, because he's a guy that gets rolling. He gets rolling. Russell Wilson, it is, and he's at 6.8. And there's some other guys around a similar price point that I like a little bit more. So I'm gonna be looking at, and then another thing that kind of pisses me off is now we got Raw back. So now we got this three-headed monster with Chris Carson, CJ Prosise, and now you add Thomas Raw. Thomas Raw being the best of all three of them theoretically, but he's the most injured, and if he gets hit, he leaves the game. You look like a fool. So it's gonna be tough for me to play any of the Seattle running backs, which puts me on looking at Russell Wilson and pairing him maybe with Doug Baldwin and Jimmy Graham, because again, I think this is the week of the tight end. I think this is the week. I think excuse me, I think this is the week of the high dollar tight end. I really do. So, and especially against the 49ers, man, they suck. It's a 14 point differential here in favor of the Seattle Seahawks. So definitely get me some exposure to them cats, man. I have nothing for San Francisco. I don't want to play them. I'm gonna need a big gulp of coffee in the morning. Dude was great in preseason and Washington is weak against slot guys. We talk about Cooper Kupp, right? Yeah, we like him. Next game we got uh, is the game that I think has the potential to be the highest scoring game on the slate. And of course, it's easy to say that because it's a 53.5 point total. One of the homies in the shop did bring up an interesting point when he says, yo, last year, the homie Julio Jones had 6 games where he didn't have 100 yards receiving. After each of those games, he went ham. Okay, he had 6 games last year where he didn't have 100 yards. After each of those games, he went ham. He had a bad game last week. I'm all over Matt Ryan again, and Devontae Freeman, and Julio Jones. I'm gonna make that work. Okay. Ty Montgomery is my favorite play out of this game. It's coming from the homie Joshua Dewey, and I can definitely agree with that. Or on the Green Bay side, I can get with that. And I like Aaron Rodgers here. I think Ty Montgomery is also in play. Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams also in play, and you can look at Martellus Bennett at 3.9. He's like one of the ones that I do like. Julio is a lock in cash. Got it. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, and this is and you look at Montgomery, man, or you look at Atlanta, they are like worst in the league against the run. So that's really gonna put Montgomery in play here. Really gonna put Montgomery in play here. So the last game we got is my New York Football Giants and the Detroit Lions. All right, so we got Matt Stafford at 5.8, Eli Manning 5.3. Giants gonna very fair defense, very fair defense. They limited the Cowboys to a lot of field goals that should have been touchdown scoring drives. That was very promising. So that is gonna maybe curb my enthusiasm about playing a lot of Matt Stafford. I think he does deserve consideration simply because they're not gonna try to run the ball between the tackles much. They're gonna always have backs coming out of the backfield, and our one glaring weakness on our defense is definitely the linebackers. So I could see Stafford and Theo Riddick hook up for maybe a 4 score. I could definitely see Golden Tate get involved underneath. I definitely I don't have an issue with that. And I am looking for Eli Manning to bounce back in the spot. So he's a guy that I am definitely interested in. I would love, last week I was like, I hope Odell don't even get on the field because I really thought that we would still be able to play well no matter if Odell's there or not. And now I see Odell at the very least has to be on the field for the Giants to to be able to do what they do. Like they've been using this cat as such a crutch recently. Odell, where you were running plays. You yo you were running plays. You knew the play. You knew they was gonna throw a slant to Odell, but you just couldn't stop it. And when he's not on the field, bro, you don't have that as an option. If he's hurt and injured, you still have that as an option to keep the cornerback on his heels, and you can go somewhere else. But it was just yeah. Only if Odell is on the field. He doesn't have to be 100%. learn to be healthy. If Odell is on the field, then that's going to put Eli in play for me. If there's no Odell on the field, I am not playing Eli Manning, period, at all. I can't do it. I'm not. I'm not. So that's a quick chop up run through, man. We did talk about some injury stuff. Whoever guys that were hurt, we're waiting on word for them. Yo, get with us, man. Tomorrow, we're gonna be doing a lineup builder show. That's gonna be inside of the VIP. We're gonna build lineups together, submit them, get them in there, try to take some shit down. Big shout out to everybody inside of the sweatshop, man. Much love for you all for rocking with me this late at night. Yo, go to the website. It's www.dfssweatshop.com. That's where you can get all the tips, tricks, and tutelage to turn you into a very, very profitable NFL, NBA. Ooh, and guess what? Boy, NBA right around the corner. NBA is right around the corner. I'm talking 30 some odd days from NBA. And you know who got you for NBA. I mean, I got you, I had you for MLB. I got you for NFL. But you know who got you for NBA. So get with me, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. So this, of course, has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Letting you know, man. Yo, what we do here, man, we keep it real, we keep it honest, and we always keep it 300. Peace.